This is part 4 of the tutorial for drawing 5. In this tutorial, we're going to add dimensions. Now, dimensions, to this point, we haven't used at all. We've only read them off of the prints, but I want to show you how you can add dimensions in using SketchUp. Now, the dimensions are in the large tool set, and this is the dimension tool. So you need to make sure that you have the large tool set selected by going to toolbars and selecting large tool set. Once you've got your dimensions or your dimension tool activated through the large tool set, you're going to mimic the dimensions in the print that was provided to you. I'm going to just quickly delete some center marks from creating the drawing. Now, with dimensions, you work from the outside to the inside. So we'll start back here in the corner. We're going to dimension the overall height by dragging from the top corner out. Now, with dimensions, you don't put the dimension directly on the shape when possible. You drag the dimension some distance away with what we call leader lines. So I've clicked on that height, and the document will dimension the image automatically. You don't have to key in the dimension. It's reading the distance of the print, so it's going to do that automatically. That's the overall height of our object. Now we can add overall length by selecting the end point of our jaw and the back edge. Now you can see that it's going to try to dimension a couple of things. If I drag the line out, it's trying to give me an angular dimension. But if I keep that along the base line, it's going to give me the overall dimension from that point to the back point. Now I'm going to drag that dimension mark so that it lines up with the overall height dimension, because when possible, you want these dimension marks to line up. The leader lines should end in the same point. All right, now there's one more dimension along this edge, and that's the 50 millimeter dimension for the front jaw. And if we're in the dimension tool, we can click on the endpoint there. Oh, it deleted my line. If you run into trouble, you can undo. All right, we're going to need to redo our overall length dimension by clicking those 2 points, dragging my line over. All right, now we can add in another dimension, clicking on the endpoint, clicking on that endpoint. Now, we work from the outside in, so the largest dimension is always on the outside. As we get nearer to the drawing, the dimensions decrease or add in the detail. Now, the leader line for this, I'm going to put approximately halfway between our initial dimension and the drawing, so I'm going to leave that one right there. So those are the first few dimensions. Now, if we spin the object, we can see that the overall jaw is dimensioned on the bottom. So I can click on the lower corners of that, pull those leader lines away from that drawing, and click there. Now, one of the nice things about SketchUp is that it will rotate the text for that dimension as I rotate my drawing. So when we go to put this in an isometric view, those dimensions, while drawn in one view, are going to rotate so that you can see them from other views. Now, in this drawing, they also dimensioned on top. I would tell you that when possible, you should avoid using dimensions on the object. It gets confusing, it's difficult to see, but in some cases, it's unavoidable. So the overall width of this object, we dimensioned from the corner of the jaw to the corner of the jaw there at a distance of 70. You could drag this up, but that's going to add more confusion to the drawing. So I'm going to leave that dimension live on top of our drawing. I am, however, going to move the dimension that they've put for the jaw. I'm going to add that dimension in on the front and leave it on the inside. I think it's a little bit easier to see, and it looks a little bit more professional. Now, the overall height of this object in the front needs to be dimensioned. So I again use the dimension tool. Click. I'm going to drag that out so that it lines up with our overall width of the front. So now I've got several of our dimensions included. We need to dimension back to the jaw, to the inside of the cutout. So I'm going to put that dimension up here. Clicking from that endpoint there, we'll drag that dimension out to the outside of our drawing. Now, anytime you're doing a single view, it's going to be an isometric. So if you kind of look at the drawing at an angle, if you want to move these around so that they look good, you can do that. Uh, in SketchUp, you can edit the text. We're not going to worry about that, but that is possible also. All right, in the back, we've got a few more dimensions. Now, they've given us a broken dimension. They dimension this back corner 10, and then they dimension the rest of it for 20. I'm going to edit that. I'm going to start from the back corner and give an overall dimension of 30 out to the back. And then I'm going to add in a more detailed on the inside of that. I can click on the inside corner, go from that endpoint to that point. It's going to give me a dimension of 10. Now here's an instance where you may want to edit that text. If you click on that dimension, you can edit that. And you can text position. If you start outside, it's going to rotate that dimension from between the 2 points to the outside, and that makes it possible to read. So now I want to bring it back. You can move it just by clicking on it. I edited that dimension by right-clicking on it and clicking text position. All right. The last piece you're going to dimension up on the top is this back corner. Clicking that to 20. I'm going to drag that back. Again, the 20 is kind of cramped inside of there. So I'm going to put the text position outside start to move it to the opposite direction. So now we can see all of the dimensions on that part. The last couple of dimensions in the drawing are the height of the jaw and the width of the back, and I'm going to have you do those on your own. This will be the end of drawing 5. Make sure that you save your document and submit it via Schoology.